Good morning, guys. Welcome to my hotel room here in Seoul, South Korea, where for the very first time, Samsung held a launch event. Unpacked 2023 happened last night, where they launched the Flip 5, the Fold 5, the Watch 6, and the Tab S9. It's a beautiful day out, and Samsung has a full day of activities planned, which makes it the perfect day to film a first 24-hour series video. That's why today I woke up early, so that I had time to film this unboxing, set up the phone, before we start with our actual day. Alright, let's start. It might not be obvious, but I have the mint green Flip 5, which I'm really excited for. Let's open it up. Don't forget, underneath the cover is a welcome packet, I believe. Inside here, you'll find some goodies, including a SIM tray ejector tool, a USB-C cable, and a user guide. And now let's take a look at the phone. Lift on this tab. It's wrapped up in black paper. By the way, the entire packaging is made from 100% recycled materials. Good job, Samsung. And that's it. If you notice, there is no charger in the box. The Galaxy Z Flip5 will support up to 25-watt charging, so any 30-watt charger will do. All right, volume's up. Let's peel it off. Ta-da! Yeah, look at that. This is how the screen looks like the first time you open it up. Depending on the angle, you can see a little bit of the crease. And then now let's take a look at the color. Depending on the light, it can look white. Bring it into shadows, you can see some little bits of green. It's a really pale mint green. Okay, let me power it up so I can set up this phone. Can you start it up with the phone closed? You can't. Out of the box, the phone was at 40%, but I have a lot of apps that I want to install. I have a lot of updates that I also want to install before we start our day. So I'm going to do that right now, plug it in so that we can officially start our day at 100%. It is 9:10 a.m. and we are currently at 100%. So off camera, I also unboxed and set up the new Galaxy Watch 6 Classic. And this is my look.
Soon after.
Okay, so we're on the bus to Insadong, which is the first stop on our tour of Seoul today. And it's almost 12 noon, and I've spent the whole morning catching up on social media, replying to emails, checking in for my flight. So I figured let's do a battery check before we get there. It is 11:55 a.m. and we are at 83%.
Many minutes later.
Got a ring. Actually, every time I'm in a new country, I try to pick up a ring as a memento. And so my ring collection is from all over the world now. This is the one I got in Seoul. Somebody want to touch it? I'm in it. I'm in. Okay, I'm gonna try it out. It's good.
Eat better frozen. Frozen, very quick.
They say it's better if you have it frozen. I like it.
Yeah.
Tastes very good.
Long
Thank you. Thank you.
We're gonna get a shot of every single one of my fans.
It was super hot outside, so we found this perfect spot to kind of chill, and there's nothing better right now than an ice cold beer. Cheers, John.
More moments later.
So we've taken a break from the tour and are at an art gallery for an art class featuring the new Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. I actually have the Ultra in my hotel room, which I haven't unboxed yet. It's gonna be a fun afternoon. I'm not really an artist, but we'll see how I do. So I have my Tab S9 here, and I have the S Pen Pro, and my seatmate is Joshua. What do you got there?
Some wings. We haven't eaten all day.
Later that night.
Hey guys, from the sound of my voice, you can probably tell I'm exhausted, super jet lagged, and I actually still have some work to do. But before I call it a day officially, I figured we'd do one final battery check. It is 10:18 p.m. and I am currently at 9%. And here is the breakdown. Screen on time, 3 hours and 39 minutes. The biggest battery hog was Instagram, 13.6%. The camera was a close second at 12.5%. And I mean, today was not your usual day because I was filming a lot, you know, testing out the camera, taking a lot of photos, taking a lot of video. So that alone will probably drain the phone. Telegram is a far third at 3.1%. And then just here is the breakdown of all the other different apps. Overall, considering that I unplugged this phone at 9 a.m. and have been using it and filming it and abusing it, I think battery life on the Flip 5 is going to be a great selling point for this phone.
4 to 6 days later.
So I'm back in New York. I really wanted to finish this video sooner, but I got bogged down by a cold and had to pause production for a few days. But during that time, I have been using this phone. In fact, my iPhone crashed on me while I was trying to update the beta software. So this has really been my only phone, and I've enjoyed it. Now, while this nice mint color is great, I prefer to use my phone with protection. And if you've noticed that case that I was using in this video, it's from this video's sponsor, Casetify, one of my favorite iPhone case manufacturers because of their quirky designs, customizable cases, and fun collabs. Here in the US, Casetify is online only, but they have actual retail stores across the globe. So while in Seoul, I made it a point to check out the Casetify studio to see firsthand the breadth of what they have to offer. There's definitely a case and accessory for every personality, every outfit, and every mood. The case I have on my Z Flip5 is one of their impact cases. This one is made with recycled materials thanks to a program called Casetify, where anyone can bring old cases that get made into new ones. This case has up to 5 feet of drop protection, and its corners are strengthened with plant-based EcoShock material, which not only helps keep the Z Flip5 protected from accidental drops, but also keeps it light. But don't take my word for it, let's see it in action. In Casetify stores, you can actually customize your own case. So while in Seoul, I took advantage and also designed a case for my iPhone 14 Pro Max. I got to choose the case style, design, font, and color. I went with this monogram design, and of course, I picked blue. The whole process took about 30 minutes, and ta-da! Fun designs, drop protection, and sustainable materials. There's a lot to love about them. For Galaxy Z Flip, Fold, and of course iPhone cases, make sure to check out our sponsor Casetify at casetify.com, and if you use our links, you'll get 15% off your order. We'd like to thank them again for always partnering with us on videos. Now it's time to talk about the biggest upgrade on the Flip 5. The much larger 3.4-inch cover display, or what Samsung now calls the Flex display. By design, Samsung intends for you to use the Flex display to display widgets, so here's everything you can enable. There's a calendar, the weather, your favorite contacts, alarm, timer, step counter, call log, My Home if you have scenes set up on Samsung SmartThings, stocks, and your fitness stats. Third-party app support is not turned on out of the box. You'll have to dive into settings, advanced features, labs, apps allowed on cover screen, and currently there are only 6 apps to choose from. These supposedly are apps that are optimized for the Flex display. They are Google Maps, Messages from both Samsung and Google, Netflix, WhatsApp, and YouTube. So I have a couple of thoughts. While widgets are a great improvement and now can display more information than ever before on a Samsung flip phone, I found that I don't really use them very often. Maybe except for the weather app. In my time with the phone, I found that I still open my phone more often than not. I did like that if I got a notification from a messaging app like Telegram, which isn't one of the supported apps in Labs, I can read my text and type out a reply without having to open the phone. Also, and I'm glad I've delayed the video in the last few days, the promised update to Good Lock has been pushed out. Good Lock is a third-party app developed by a special team inside Samsung. If you haven't heard of Good Lock, it's definitely worth checking out. It's available on the Galaxy Store, and it's an app where Samsung has kind of tucked away all their experimental features, or features that they haven't really implemented on all of the Galaxy phones just yet. It just requires a lot of digging through menus to be able to see and enable some of these features. Being able to run third-party apps on the cover or the Flex display on the Flip 5 is one of those experimental features, but it requires at least 7 steps and 2 downloads to enable. You can pause and screenshot this 7-step guide, or you can watch my buddy Jonathan Casey's excellent step-by-step video. All the apps that you choose to enable are then available under their own widget. Of course, most Android apps are not designed for small, square screens, so the experience may not always be ideal. That said, I love running all my messaging apps on it, or posting a new thread, or answering an email. It just makes the phone much more handy. If you saw my Razer Plus review, you'll know that I'm also excited about another Good Lock feature called Game Launcher that gives you access to some cool games that work perfectly in this form factor, including my favorite, Stack Bounce. Apps on the cover display was my biggest feature request on the Flip 4 and even on the Flip 3, so I'm so glad that it's finally here. I'm just a little bit annoyed that it's a little bit, or shall I say, very difficult to enable, and most people will probably even not know that it is possible. That should have just been a feature that you could turn on from Labs at the very least. While the Flip 5's cameras have the same hardware as the Flip 4, in theory, the new ISP on Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 for Galaxy should enable better photos. After perusing the comparison photos that I shot in Seoul, I think the results are not dramatically better on the Flip 5 versus the Flip 4, but I will say that I did like the photos that I shot using the Flip 5, and maybe that's because I also understand that there's not a lot of space to put in the same S23 Ultra camera system into a phone this small and pocketable. I don't know if you noticed, but a big chunk of the video from my visit to Insadong Market was shot on the Flip 5 as well. The other big change on the Flip 5 has to do with their new hinge design, which allows the phone to fold close without that wedge-shaped gap that we used to see on the Flip 4. While with day-to-day use, I didn't notice that much. It's a welcome change because foreign objects like sand could find their way in between the cracks and lead to scratching your display, and you don't want that. Now that it's not there anymore, I feel like the display gets an added layer of protection, but I'm a little bit bummed because it doesn't change the way the crease feels. It's more pronounced on the Flip 5 compared to the Motorola Razr Plus or the Oppo Find N2 Flip, and because of the way the Flip folds in half like this, with the crease in the middle versus the fold, which is more like a book style, you really will be scrolling down and feeling that crease, and it's something that's hard to miss. Let's talk about battery life for a second. The Flip 5, like the Flip 4, has a 3,700 mAh battery, and if my one day in Seoul was any indication, it lasts a good full day of heavy use. In my almost 1 week with the Flip 5, I can say that battery life has been pretty consistent, a full day and maybe then some, but compared to the Flip 4, it's not significantly better, which I thought would have been the case considering that the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is known for its battery efficiencies, and maybe that's because of the cover display also consuming more power than last year. So, is the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 your gadget match? Let me start by saying the Z Flip 5 is a fun phone, and it's going to attract the kind of user that Samsung is intending, the cool, hip, young crowd. I personally love this phone. I love its pocketability and its form factor. That said, I am a power user, and I do want a phone that has all the bells and whistles. The thing is, this phone is such a small device. There's not a lot of space in this chassis, so you're going to have to give up some things, so you're not going to have the best of the best. But for everybody else who doesn't need extreme power and performance and the best cameras and a large battery, then you're going to find very little to complain about the Z Flip 5. If anyone from Samsung is watching, my wish list for the Z Flip 6 is apps by default on the cover screen. You should just have the option to turn it on or off if you think it's too much for most people. I'd love them to work on maybe minimizing the crease and probably a bigger battery and slightly better camera hardware. That said, Samsung is still the leader in the flippable phone race, and they're offering a pretty good pre-order deal. So if you'd like to pre-order one today, I'll put our links down below. Make sure you pre-order it before it goes on sale on August 11th. And that was a mini review of the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 5 after 1 week of use. If you'd like to see more content like this one, we've got a lot coming our way, including coverage of the Fold 5 and the new Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and hit that bell icon while you're at it so that you get notified as soon as we upload. Follow me on social media for all the behind-the-scenes fun stuff, and for news and updates, make GadgetMatch.com your daily habit. Until the next time, I'm MICHAELJOSH. Thanks for dropping by.